Test cases, a very important chapter. Let's discuss about that. Okay, next. Test cases. As said earlier, whatever the position you are working in, means if you are a test lead or if you are test engineer or test manager or associate, whatever it may be, if you are from QA department, you will be associated with the test cases. You'll be working on the test cases. Test cases is a primary thing for you. If you are in an entry level, you will be writing the test cases. You are expert, then you are going to review the test cases. Whatsoever it may be, you will be attached to the test cases every day. So that is what the importance of the test case. A lot of certifications and all those things has not given such importance to the test cases, but from my point of view, writing the test cases and understanding them is the very first priority for a QA tester. So let's begin and let's start. What is a test case? A primary question. I can say in a simpler words, test case is nothing but a document with expected result. A document with an expected result is called a test case. Fine. From where you are going to get this expected result from? Who will give you the expected result? Expected result in the sense the expected application behavior. You are going to get it from FRS or BRS or use cases, not from BRS, FRS or system requirement specification or use cases. You are going to get this expected result, means application behavior, what you are expecting the application to do. That is what the expected result, right? So you are not going to expect by your own. You need to have some documentation prior to that. So it may be use cases, right? It may be user stories, so whatever it may be, but you need to have the expectation. So test case is nothing but a document with expected result. So let us improvise this. So when we can expect something from the system? When there is a user operation, right? Only in that circumstances we can expect something from the system, right? If you are going to click on OK button, then we can think that application is going to take to certain page. If you are going to click on sign in button, it will take you to the sign in page. I mean, it will log in into the application. If you click on sign up, it will give you a sign up form. Means whenever you do any action, then system respond. Means literally you are not going to expect without doing any action, right? So if you are expecting something, in the sense you need to do some action. Means user action. A test case is nothing but a document with user action and its subsequent response. A document with user action and subsequent response is nothing but expected result. A document with the user action and subsequent response, that is nothing but expected result. Clear? Yep. Next, if you take an example of some Gmail login. Gmail login, once we write username, password and click on sign in, it will take you to the inbox. Taking or navigating you to the inbox is what you are expecting. But you are doing multiple user actions. It's not a single user action, right? You need to write the username, you need to write the password, you need to click on sign in. Means a series of user actions or sequence of user actions you need to do to perform a or to expect something from the system. So a test case is nothing but a document with sequence or series or steps of user actions and its subsequent response. So in the test case, we are going to write test step by step what we are going to do on the application and step by step how application is behaving for our actions. These two we are going to do it in the test case, right? Now,
Okay.
this is what the definition. Next come. So who are going to write the test cases? Generally, like QA will write the test cases. Where we are going to write the test cases? Where? 99% of the cases, the best option to write the test cases, the complete manual test cases in Excel. Excel. But still, you can write in some tools too, that we'll be discussing. Anyways, that is not there in our course. But we can write the test cases in some tools like Bugzilla or Zira or QC or LM. We can write in test management tools. We have something called test management tools. If you want, we can write that in the tools too. Okay, if you are not writing in any tool, so we'll be writing that in a Excel only. Word document and all those documents also we can write in that, but for writing the test cases, the better option and the easy option is Excel. Okay, Excel. So we are going to write the test cases in Excel. It's not only in Excel, we'll be writing in Word also. Some people will write it very less percentage, and generally some people do write in what you call some test management tools like QC or ALM or Zira. In the tools also we can write it, but here we are going to see how to write in the Excel. Right now,
Okay.
do we have any rules to write the test cases? Not much, but still we have basic rules to write the test cases. The very first basic rule is the test cases what you are trying to write should be simple. Yes, it's simple and easy to understand. Why? Because once you write the test cases, you'll be executing it after some days. So in that case, even you need to understand what you have written for. If it is simple, you'll understand it clearly. Or you have written the test cases by chance, some your colleague or someone may execute it. Then even he need to understand, right, what you have written. So that's the reason it should be simple and easy to understand. Once it is simple and easy, obviously everyone can understand it. Next.
Mm-hmm.
It has some naming convention. Okay, it has some naming convention like that. I will discuss that how the test case name should be and all those things. We have naming conventions for that. We'll be discussing that. So what types of test cases will write? I'm not talking about functional, non-functional, but generally we'll be writing positive or valid or proper flow of test cases, and we'll be writing invalid flow or alternate flow or negative test cases or invalid data test cases. Means when there is a possibility, we need to test an application with both ways, with a valid and invalid data. Why? Just understand it. Once you are trying to test an application, you have given a valid data and system has accepted it. We are very much happy because system is accepting the valid data. You have given the invalid data and system also accepting it. Is that good idea? No, right? So system should
No.
reject the invalid data. Means should accept the valid data. Along with that, with the same importance, it should reject the invalid data too, right? So that's the reason we need to test with valid and invalid. Means we need to test with positive flow and alternate flow. Means with valid data and invalid data, and we need to check the behavior of a application in both ways. Clear? Yes.
Okay.
Next. Now, where we are going to write the test cases, in Excel. So every company maintains its own template. Yes, my company uses a template that may not be same with your company, but almost similar. It should follow some rules, right? So obviously it will be almost same with fewer differences, and that's not big challenge. Even easily you can get it. Means almost same, but every company uses their own template, color, structure. Template in the sense with
Mm-hmm.
some predefined components, some logo. Some company uses logos on their test cases. Some companies will not, right? Yes, some companies
Okay.
uses a different color format. some companies will not. So that's a few differences will have, but not too much. Once you are aware of writing the test cases, whatever the template you get, you can go ahead and write it. Okay, simple changes will be there, not too much, right? Yes. Now let me show you a test case, and next will be discuss each and every field of the test case. Let's begin. It's taking some time. Yep. We got a test case on the screen.
Yes.
Leave about this test case. This is a test case with some predefined components in it, I can say, right? Quality assurance test case on the screen now,
Yes.
right? So the very first part, you can see that the project details, project name, module, documents referred, and author. So all those things, and it's not too much to discuss about that. So that we can write it. Now let's talk about this fields: test case name, test case description, step name, test data, right? So we'll see all this one by one. Let's begin. Test case ID. This is the very first field in your test case. Test case ID or test case name. Test case ID or test case name is the very first field in your test case. So what is this test case ID or name refer to? So this test case ID or name will refer to a unique ID of the test case. Yes, every test case should have a unique ID. If you have 100 test cases, and all the test cases should have a unique ID, and that should start something like this: test case 001. Okay, the second test case I have taken as test case 002, and next 003, and so upon that. Like, okay, and it has a naming convention. So test case ID or name should work like a label. Label. Okay,
Okay.
means once someone look at a test case ID or name, he need to understand what exactly there in it. Because once you are exporting this to ALM or QC, there it just displays the test case name. If an engineer looks at a test case ID or name, he need to understand for what it has been written for. So that's the reason the whole naming convention is there for it. First one is a numerical value which will keep it unique. Means some number, test case 001 or 2 or 3. After that, followed by, we have something called a project name. Project name. Main project name we need to give. Next, if you have any module, the module name. If you have submodule, then submodule. Then the functionality what you are trying to test.
Okay.
Right? So that once we look at the test case ID, okay, this is for so and so. You need to get that point. Okay? So that's the reason a test case ID or name should be unique, and it should follow some naming convention. A unique ID followed by module, followed by project, followed by module. If you have submodule, then functionality. Clear? Next field, and very important field.
In this case, the functionality is links here, right?
Visitor links, correct. Visitor links.
Yes. Visitor links.
Next, test case description.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Which one?
This point.
Test case ID.
Yeah, test case ID.
a unique number,
Okay.
project name, main project name,
Mm-hmm.
module.
Mm-hmm.
Here we don't have any submodule actually. After module, directly functionality. Okay, if you have
Okay.
submodule, even you need to write a submodule also.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason is why the reason? If someone looks at ID, then you need to understand what's there in it, right? No need to
Right.
dig, no need to go in depth. It's a label, right? Before opening and going through the book, first we read the label, right? So label itself says what's there in.
Right.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Test case description. Second
Mm-hmm.
field. Its name says test case description, or some people say test description, so whatever it may be, a test case description.
Okay.
It's a core intention, goal, or scope. I mean to say why we are conducting test case 001. You'll be having some goal, right? Literally, you are not going to write any test cases. Blindly, we'll not write the test cases. We'll have some agenda. We'll have some goal. We'll have
Mm-hmm.
some primary cause for writing the test case. What is your primary goal? Why we are writing the test case? So that should be given in the test case description. So in this case, I'm going to write these test cases to check the visitor links in home page. There are some home page links are there, so I want to test it. That is what my goal. If you come on to the
Okay.
second test case here, they want to test admin login with valid data and test case 3 with the invalid data. Means what is your goal? What is your scope? Why we are writing test case 001? Blindly will not write, right? Why we are writing? So that should be given in the test case description. Clear? Goal.
Sure.
Your goal.
Yes.
Next. Step name is a third field. It will be having generally step 1, step 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing what we
Uh-huh.
need to understand is every step name should have at least one step description expected result. At least one step description expected result. Okay. Now let's come on to the step description. What is step description? User action. Click on personal banking is a step description, is a user action. Click on corporate banking, click on international banking, means these are the user actions what need to be performed on the end application. Where we are going to get the step description? From the requirement document only. You are not going to frame your own. What happens if you do these activities? System should respond like this. Means once we click on personal banking, system should display information on personal banking. If you click on corporate, it should display corporate details. How you know it? Yes, from the requirement documents only, like FRS or use cases or any document. Means the step description expected result will be drafted from the requirement documents. This is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Clear? You are not going to do it
Mm-hmm.
by your own. You are going to take it from the documents itself, because because documents itself should say how the application should work. You are not going to decide. Clear? So all these things we are going
Okay.
to take it from the requirement document, and we are going to frame them in a step-by-step manner. That is what test case, a step-by-step process to test an application in a step-by-step manner like this. See the definition what I have given earlier. Test case is nothing but step-by-step or sequence of steps with a user action and their responses. Clear? Next.
Yeah.
Test data, the data which is used to test an application. In this, enter URL. What is that URL? You need to write it here. Okay. And some cases you'll be having larger data to test an application, right? We have derived some data, so that data also should be written here. In this case, we need to write username and password and click on login. What is that username and password? We need to write it here. Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
means what is the test data? The data which is used to test an application. The test data should be given in the test data column. Clear? So up till here the test cases, and we have some preconditions for the test cases. We have priorities for the test cases that we'll see later on. As if now you need not worry about that. Okay, it's a basic template. So let us stick to this. Next. So up till here we'll write the test case. Fine. Finish. Happy. After few days, we have written the test cases by using your requirement document and we have kept it aside. After few days, application has been released. Then what you are going to do? Whatever given in the step description, step by step. I'm repeating it. Whatever given in the step description, step by step. First, perform this step 1. on the application, perform step 2 on the application, perform step 3 on the application. Whenever we perform the activity on the application, all these things should be performed on the end application, right? Whenever you perform this activity on the end application, system will respond. If you click on personal banking, system will respond. What is that response? Just watch it and write it here. Just you watch it and write it here. Click on about us. Yes. Sequence. Do it. Do this. Sixth line says click on about us. You just go and click on it. Just see how what application is doing and write it here. Getting the point? So whatever given in the step description, you need to perform on the end application and system will respond. That response you need to write it here in the actual. Once after done with the actual, then you need to compare expected and actual. If both are identical, the status will be passed. If it is deviated, the status will be failed. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
This is how the test cases template look. These are the fields. These are all the fields of test cases and how they work. Right? Test case ID, test case description, step name, test data, step description, expected result, actual. There may be few differences depending on the organization, but ultimately all templates almost look the same. Clear? Yes, this is the introduction to writing the test cases. Any doubts before ending this? In the next session, we'll be seeing how to write the test cases. Like we have different documentation, we have different applications. For coming 2 days, we'll be completely writing the test cases. Once after done with that, we'll be moving on to the automation. All this theory part is different. Till here we have done through all the theory parts. That is different, and the next 2 classes what you are going to do, that's completely the different. It's a practical thing what we are going to do in the next and the next class. Is that clear? Yep. So we'll wind up today's session here and let's meet up tomorrow.
But this is a manual test, right? This is not automation.